If Republican voters don't start acting now, the Democrats will win midterms. The Democrats will win, and the reason for it is very simple and actually pretty dumb, and it could be easily avoided. The reason that Democrats will win is not because they are popular, because they are not. The reason is non voters. People who don't go to vote, who stay at home, normies, basically, who fall for the both sides are bad nonsense, people who do not understand the consequences of Democrats winning the election. Those non voters who would not vote Democrat, actually, they would not vote Democrat, but they don't go to vote Republican. And those non voters are a huge group, and they are the reason Democrats will win the election. Voter turnout in midterms is usually around 50%. So all Republicans have to do is to get non voters to go to vote. If every Republican voter convinces just one single non voter to vote, that would double the Republican votes. It's that simple. So I ask every one of you, please just try to convince one single non voter to go to vote Republican instead of staying at home and not voting at all. And talk to people you know so that others do the same. If we get Republican voters convincing non voters, Republicans will win midterms. Otherwise, they will lose. Also, I am not asking you to waste your time on talking with leftists or Democrats. Don't even try to convince Democrat voters. I am talking about non voters, people who you know would not vote Democrats, but the non voters who, as I said earlier, fall for the both sides are equal nonsense and all of that. People who do not actively support the Democrats but don't vote either, those are the ones we need to convince to vote Republican instead of staying at home. And if you need some motivation, think back to Charlie Kirk. Think about what they did to him and how they celebrated it. We cannot let them win after this. We need to do everything we can, no excuses. All it takes for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. We cannot allow this to happen. We need to try to get as many non voters as possible to vote so we don't have any regrets. You cannot begin to imagine the consequences of Democrats winning another election. I myself, I am from Europe, and the situation here is much worse than you will ever realize. And even if I told you, you would not believe me. Do not let this happen to the US. Do not let this happen to your home country. If non voters just understood even a fraction of the consequences of Democrats winning another election, most of them would go and vote Republican. They only stay at home and don't vote because they have no clue about the consequences of Democrats winning another election. Because they don't have any idea what is happening in Europe and other socialist leftist countries. If they knew, they would go to vote. As an example, let's make a hypothetical thought experiment on how unpopular you can be to win elections. Let's just use some completely made up numbers for this purpose. So those are not real numbers. This is just an example how it could work. For example, let's assume out of 10 people, two people actually support the Democrats. And of course, Democrats, they always vote. They are not non voters. They vote always, and many of them vote multiple times because of the lack of voter ID. So one Democrat voter goes, for example, to two US states and votes in both of them because there is no ID. So those two Democrat voters already get 4 votes. And then they get some mail-in votes, for example, from inhabitants of nursing homes. They get their mail-in vote, if you know what I mean. And so out of 2 voters, you already have 5 votes. And then out of the 10 people, the other 8 people, you get with a 50% voter turnout, you get then 3 Republican voters and 5 non-voters. And those 3 Republican voters just vote normally. You also get 3 Republican votes in the end result. 3 Republican voters. The 2 Democrat voters get 5 votes in the result. By the way, in the way I just explained, and the other 50% are non-voters. So out of 10 people, 2 Democrats, and in the voter result, they win. As I said, Democrat voters, they drive to multiple states, to multiple cities, and vote in elections without voter ID. So one single voter, depending on how much time they spend, how much they drive around, they could vote in example in 10 different places without voter ID. So one Democrat voter gets 10 votes in 10 different places. If Republicans start doing the same, leftist judges will stop it by requiring voter ID everywhere. So let's come on, everyone, get active, do something. Ask yourself, what would Charlie Kirk do? Take a look at people like Scott Presler. They did so much. If all of us become a little bit more just like them, we will win. If we can convince non-voters to vote, we will win. Let's do this.